playing some classic mono black discard today. Um, I just cobbled this deck together. I've been pretty busy in the last few days, so I didn't have time to record, unfortunately. But we're here now, so let's get into it. So mono black discard, uh, it's had its days in standard where it was pretty good. I'm not sure how it's gonna do today, but I said, you know what, I haven't played it in a while, so let's give it a go. Let's have some fun. So let's get into it. So our win condition today, we have a few win conditions, but the one that's going to come up the most consistently is Bandit's Talent. So Bandit's Talent is a class enchantment. So when it enters, our opponent uh, is forced to either discard two cards or one non-land card, and then we can level it for one mana. And at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has one or fewer cards in hand, they lose two life. So that's going to be the way that we win, is by pinging them for two life, hopefully getting multiple talents on the board and pinging them for like four or six, and getting them that way. And then if we do have mana kicking around, we can level it to level 3. And at the beginning of our draw step, we can get an extra card if our opponent has one or fewer cards in their hand. So that's going to be a way to just generate card advantage and make sure that they do not get cards in their hand. So that is the goal today. So we're backed up by a ton of discard spells. So we have 4 copies of Ruthless Negotiation. Target opponent exiles a card from their hand, and then we can flash it back for 5 mana. And if we do, we get to draw a card when we cast it. So it's another way to get card advantage later. 3 copies of Cruel Claw's Heist. So this one's a little more expensive. Usually discard spells are 1 mana. This is 2 because we get to look at their hand and choose the card. And it can be any card. It can be any non-land card. And then we can gift a card, and they will get to, so they'll get to draw a card, and then we can pick any card out of their hand and keep it for ourselves, and it will remain in exile. So this is usually not the first discard spell you cast. This is usually the second or third. Once you know what they have in their hand and you want to keep it for yourself, so maybe it's like a powerful enchantment, or maybe it's a planeswalker or something, and you can just say, no, I want that. That's for me. So that could be pretty good for that. 3 copies of Duress. So one thing that Mono Black cannot deal with is uh, non-creature permanents, so enchantments and artifacts. Black is pretty bad at dealing with those. So Duress is a great way to get those cards out of their hand. Creatures we can deal with. We can kill creatures. We're black. Black is good at killing creatures, so we're not as worried about that. But non-land permanents, any type of enchantment that's going to like keep generating tokens or something like that, that can be a real problem for us. So that's why the Duresses are here. We have 1 copy of Insatiable Avarice. It's just a good draw spell. I'm only putting 1 in there because I don't want I don't need 3 of them in the deck. If it shows up, that's cool. The other thing too is because it says target player draws 3 cards and loses 3 life, we can actually target our opponent with it and hit them for 3 life. So that could be a way to kill our opponent. It's kind of an edge case, but it's possible. Any other discard stuff here? Not really. So we have 4 copies of Decavern Bat, and there's a couple of reasons why this is here. I mean, first of all, it's a 2 mana, take anything from their hand and exile it, forcing them to use one of their cards essentially to get a card back. So it's very annoying to deal with. Everyone's dealt with this card on turn 2. It's very annoying. Like Duress turn 1, Deep Cavern Bat turn 2 is very, very devastating. Um, so the other reason that Deep Cavern Bat is in here is because we have Virtue of Persistence. So we can bring it back every turn if we were to resolve this later in the game. And that could be very annoying for our opponent, right? Just Deep Cavern Bat, and they kill it, and we get the bat back and take something else. And we also have Meat Hook Massacre too. This is kind of this is a pet card of mine. This is a card that I keep trying to make work, um, but it usually doesn't. So I just threw 1 in here today. If we get it, we get it. But you know, I like playing with all the cards. So when it enters, each player sacrifices X creatures of their choice. So it's like a pseudo sweeper, right? You need to pay 2 mana per X cost. So if we paid 6 for this, it would be 1 creature. If we paid 8, it would be 2. Um, but a lot of times you just treat this as a 4 mana enchantment. Don't really worry about the sweeper. Like if it comes up later, it's fine. But think of it as a bonus, but not the necessity. It's the next line of text that's important. Whenever a creature you control dies, you may pay 3 life. If you do, return that card under your control with a finality counter on it. And then whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, they may pay 3 life. If they don't, return that card under your control with a finality counter on it. So the reason I like this in a discard deck is because eventually our opponent's going to get to a point where um, they can't pay the life. So I kill their creature, and they have to pay 3 life for it to go in their graveyard. Otherwise, it's going to come on my side of the board. And if we're paying them down with like Bandit's Talent and stuff, they might have like, let's say 5 life left, and they're ending up making this terrible choice where they either give me their creature or die, and either way it's bad for them. So I think Meathook Massacre can make sense in this deck. Of course, I can also bring my creatures back, which is cool. Anything else is kind of interesting here? We're running 1 copy of Painful Quandary. This is another pet card of mine that I really like. I think it goes very well in discard. Typically, I would advise against running expensive enchantments that don't do something when you play them. Um, so Painful Quandary is definitely one of them, right? You're going to spend 5 mana and probably tap out for this spell, which means you were probably already ahead when you played it. However, in a discard deck, if you can get into a situation where you have Painful Quandary and Bandit's Talent on the board, your opponent is going to have a nightmare trying to get back into the game. Because they're going to be losing so much life and discarding so many cards, you will essentially lock them out of the game. They won't be able to do anything. Um, so that's one way we're going to close out the game. Another way we can close out the game is Axelzot's Deepest Betrayal. So he keeps coming back because he's a god, so he flips into a land when he dies unless he's exiled. And we can keep bringing him back, and when he attacks, our opponent discards a card, and if they can't discard a card, we get to draw. So he's a great way of just ending the game. He has lifelink. He's a great card. You only need one of them. Um, so yeah, we have like a couple top end cards here. Um, we have removal with Deadly Cover Up. We have 1 copy of Shoot the Sheriff, 3 Nowhere to Runs. I jammed 3 of these in here because those pesky mono green decks are always using Hexproof. So this is going to be our tech against them. And Feed the Cycle just because it's a good removal card. Oh, and we have 1 copy of Archdruid's Charm. So this is good for removing creatures or planeswalkers, but I also thought it would be handy to use the second mode here, return 1 or 2 target creature and or planeswalker cards from your graveyard to the hand, so we could get our bats back. I thought that'd be pretty handy, right? Get 2 bats back in your hand. I think that'd be pretty awesome. We also had 3 copies of Hostile to get Investigator. It's a very good card for the cost. It's a 4 mana creature that's a 4/3. Opponent discards a card when it enters, and then whenever they discard a card, you get to investigate, so you make a clue token. So this could be another way we can get some card advantage. Mono black discard sometimes like doesn't have anything to do with their mana. They're kind of just sitting there waiting. So having a clue token to sink our mana into is always nice. But yeah, that's the deck. There's nothing too complicated about it. Something I also might add is Unholy Annex for extra draw, but I'll see if we can get away with this. Anyways, let's get into the games. Oh, okay, we are in game here. Keep our hand. Looks good. It's pretty easy to keep your hand with this deck. Alright, our opponent mulligan, so this is gonna sting. Mulliganing against discard is very rough. Now they're down to 5 cards. Alright, and it is this. So we're actually going to Nowhere to Run. I don't want this getting any counters, because it's just going to place it on another creature, which threatens our life total. So next we're going to do this. Actually, it might have been smarter to do Ruthless Negotiation in case he has 2 lands in hand, because then I would have forced him to discard both of them. Yeah, this has been a very good opening salvo from us. Alright, so we're going to slam the second Bandit's Talent, go to level 2 on one of them, and try to set the lock up. Would like to find 1 more land as well. These feed the cycles are actually becoming a bit of a problem. Paying 3 mana versus 2 mana, it stings. It really does. Okay, we're just going to level. We're not going to bat, we're not going to Cruel Claws. It sucks that we're floating mana, but I mean, it's on our opponent for them to get themselves out of this. I think we're just going to race our opponent. So we are actually going to play this, just so we can immediately level it. Now they're taking 6 per turn, so they're on a 3-turn clock. They are a life gain deck, though, so it is very well possible that they... Okay. That's fine. There's no possible way that they, Oh, actually, no, they're not dead. Yet. We can do the Insatiable Avarice next turn and kill them. Yep. Yeah, he knows. Alright, GG. Sometimes it really is that easy with this card when you get a good start like that. Okay. Opening turns here look good. I think we'll keep. No Bandit's Talent immediately, which is I don't like. But Ruthless Negotiation into the bat looks pretty good. We'll get a lot of intel there. Opponent exiles an Aetherize. Okay. Hit him with the bat. Shoot the Sheriff. 3 steps ahead. Spell Stutter. What do I actually care more about? Honestly? Let's take the Spell Stutter. I don't care about removal spells too much. If he wants to burn his removal spells on my creatures, that's fine. The counter spells though, countering like my permanents, that I don't like. I'm gonna steal something, actually. He has cards that I might find useful. Yeah, let's take his counterspell. Oh, you know what? This won't work because the spree cost doesn't get converted. That was foolish of me. That's me not understanding how the game works. Well, you know what we'll do? We'll draw discard with it on opponent's end step. Our opponent does not like that we're playing discard, so we're going to mute them. They're just like raw control, from what I can tell. I haven't seen any... If he counters this, that's actually pretty good for me. Discard a card. I'm gonna get rid of the removal. He hasn't shown us anything that I want to counter. Okay, Spell Stutter. We're going to do this because we can actually pay the 2. So it puts them in a very sad position. And I'm fine just trading card for card with them right now because I have win conditions, they don't. So they are probably going to shoot the Sheriff in response. Okay. That's okay. We get intel on what's in their hand. So we need to play around the Spell Stutter. They're waiting for fairies, right? So they have the Spell Stutter, they have Ego Drain. Both of these care about fairies. Yeah, I think we're just going to bat again. If they want to waste their removal on this, because, right, they have so much removal. I have an Aclazotz in my hand. That's totally fine. I'm not worried yet. I'm essentially just toying with them at this point. Okay, so they did save mana for Spell Stutter, so we'll have to be aware of that. Sleep Curse Fairy. Okay, so they topped out. That means non-land card. That's unfortunate. They throw away Aquazots, that makes sense. We will... Yeah, let's Hostile Investigator. He's a rogue, so he can't be killed by Shoot the Sheriff, because a rogue is an outlaw. So that's a little bit of knowledge. And we'll draw on our opponent's outstep with the token. And we'll probably play... I thought about playing Ruthless Negotiation there, but I think getting the threat on the board and getting the token is probably more worth it. Opponent's sinking mana. Yeah, they're really playing around this spell stutter. Oh, they're tapping out fully. Okay. I would have loved to find a, well, I think we'll just hit their hand then. We'll see what we draw here. What did they exile? Aetherize? That's fine. Play another Ruthless Negotiation. They're topped out, so they either get rid of the spell stutter or we find out what was in their hand. Okay, so they've got some type of ace in the hole. I'm gonna swing. If they choose to block, that's fine. I'd actually rather if they blocked. We don't really care about our creatures. Our creatures are just ways of pseudo-discarding our opponent. I am going to do this. Yeah, we can still feed the cycle. It'd be nice. Like, they probably have a counter spell here, but that's okay. I'm not doing anything else with my mana anyway. Okay. Yeah, these deadly cover-ups are kind of dead draws, but I don't want to be exiling cards from my graveyard either, because it's going to mess up my feed the cycle. Play this. Oh, cards are sticking. Nice. We'll immediately do this. Because if we have like a Bandit's Talon or something, I'd like to play it. We're just looking for the Bandit's Talents. We're halfway through almost halfway through our deck, and we haven't found the Bandit's Talents yet. That's really annoying. There was also something to be said about deadly cover-upping and trying to get rid of some of their key cards. It's Ward 2. We'll attack their life total. That's fine, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to deadly cover up now that I know that their hand's empty. Oh crap, I hit end turn. I thought it was passing to end step. That's fine. That's actually better. It ended up working out, but be aware it almost didn't work out. And we won't exile creatures, and the reason is because we can get them back. We'll get rid of one bat. Now we need to find the key card. This one's tricky. Okay, so we know they've already played 3 steps ahead, so they still have probably 2 left in their deck. I think the 3 steps are the scariest card. We'll get rid of the other one in the graveyard. They have nothing in their hand. They have 1 left. Let's see what their win cons are. They have a High Fate Trickster, so this is just Dimir Fairies. Nothing. They honestly don't really have much. They have 2 High Fate Tricksters and 2 Picklock Pranksters. Everything else is just like draw and stuff and removal. Oh, no, this is fine by me. They do have a few spell stutters left, but Alright. Okay, they milled one of their High Fate Tricksters. And there is the Bandit's Talent. Things are about to get very, very difficult for you. That's fine. And we are going to immediately level this. We'll do this on our opponent's end step, or on their turn, just in case. We'll just pay the black. There's no reason to forage here when we can pay. Actually, there was a reason, and the reason is in case this is a spell stutter, we would have had 2 mana, so that was a mistake on my part. That could have been quite bad for us. And we get an extra spell. This is holding priority, which means that this is an instant of some sort. Okay. We're just going to kill the Picklock Prankster. In response. It's fine by me. We're just going to pay for it again. We have tons of mana. It's crazy we found our first Bandit's Talent at card 33. Actually, I think it was card 34, but it does happen sometimes. That's one of the risks you run when you don't have a Bandit's Talent in your opening hand. How far down are they? I think our opponent is quite frustrated. Yeah, I would be too. This card can be a very frustrating deck to play against. Back up to gold 1. Alright, we are in game here. This looks like a pretty good hand. It doesn't have removal, but it does have really good discard. So it depends on what this person's playing. Probably playing Aristocrats. They didn't mulligan. They just played 2 cards on turn 1, which makes it look like they mulligan. So we're just gonna hit him with every discard spell in the book. Yeah, we need to find removal, and we need to find it fast. We are going to... We're going to Cruel Claw's Heist here. I want to make sure that whatever is in their hand doesn't remain in their hand. Glad I did that. And we'll probably Arch Enemy's Charm the Servandum. I'm being greedy here. I want to set this up though, and it's mana efficient to do this. I mean, Arch Enemy's Charm is also 3 mana. What I mean by mana efficient is you want to try and use all your mana every time. Man, they never don't have it, do they? They never don't have it. Well, this is good for us because if he's just gonna sacrifice everything and put it into his Servandum, then that's fine by me. Because I'm just gonna kill it, and he wasted all his time. Yeah. I don't know why they wouldn't have I can't believe Mono Black is incapable of finding I can't believe Mono Black is incapable of finding removal. But this happens all the time. Like there's like 7 or 8 removal spells in this deck. And I don't know if we're going to survive. We'll do it like this. Smart choice by them. Okay. Well, we're gonna start generating card advantage here. If I have to Meat Hook Massacre, I definitely will. But we're gonna need one more land for that. Duress and Meat Hook Massacre could be a play next turn. We could also Ruthless Negotiation. Okay. That Virtue of Persistence kind of changed my plan. So what we're going to do is this. Life total is important, and we're going to do this. Paying 0. There. And the reason I want the Meat Hook Massacre down is because our opponent is playing a creature-based deck. So chances are they're going to have creatures and they're going to die, especially if he's sacrificing them, right? So that's really annoying for him. Every time, like he wants his creatures to die, and every time he does that, he needs to pay 3 life, or I get them. Oh my goodness. So we're going to... Are we going to exile from our graveyard? I think we are. And we're not going to do the Ruthless Negotiation because we can't flashback it. Now, what card do we get rid of? I think it's Raise the Past, right? It's really the only card that's going to like blow us out in one turn. What's in their hand? Tragic Tragedy, that says nothing. Enduring Innocence, Seth Roth, Voice of Victory, Timeline Color. Nothing we haven't seen before. Do I pay 3 life for the bat? Is this instant or sorcery? I'm gonna decline for now. And the reason is because I have a Duress, and I can just do this. And then we'll slam Virtue. Okay. Yep. They're gonna start gaining life here, but we're also gonna start making some creatures. I'm gonna start taking their best creatures, making just a big wall. Who has the best stat line? I think we'll take Servandum, also because they can't get it now. And then we'll Ruthless Negotiation. Okay, we have to shoot the Sheriff, which is really nice. I think we're going to immediately kill Enduring Innocence. Well, he's going to get the card either way. So we'll do it this way. And we'll hold this up at instant speed. Okay, that's good. It also exiles, which is important because that was a... Okay, we have double removal in hand for any issues we face. Oh no. We're gonna get Enduring Innocence now because if they pay 3 life for this, they die. Oh, that's an interesting interaction. I've never seen that before. I'm gonna shoot the Sheriff immediately. Yeah, because this is a Warlock, so we can't kill it with Shoot the Sheriff. So now we get Sephiroth, or they lose. And we could have just sacrificed there to kill our opponent, which they realize, so they surrender. looks pretty good for an opener. I would love to have Bandit's talent, but this is acceptable. It does what we want, right? Yep, and we'll just ruthless negotiation. Hopefully get some intel on what our opponent's playing. Opponent gets rid of a Reach the Horizon. So this looks like mono green landfall. So Cruel Claw Ice is going to be important next turn here. We want to get rid of those Tifas and Mossborn Hydras and stuff. Alright, so we're going to get rid of Mossborn Hydra. They might play Bursty Bill next turn, but we can remove it. And we will just respond to this on the stack. He can sacrifice it, doesn't matter. The reason we didn't go after these guys is because these guys don't inherently hurt us. They can't hurt us right away. They need other creatures. They're an enabler. They themselves are not the win, or they themselves are not the threat. They make the threats more powerful. And as long as we kill the threats or get them out of their hand. Oh, he chose to get rid of 2 lands. Oh my goodness. I mean, he can get them back, of course, with these cards, especially if he hits a land off top. I don't think he did. I feel like he would have played it. Yep. Okay. So now we are going to... I think we're going to Painful Quandary here. I think this is a very good opportunity to do it. And it's going to make the rest of their turns very difficult for them. So if you didn't give this a read, whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player loses 5 life unless they discard a card. So they can only pay 5 life 4 times. Alright, and we are going to... I think we're going to Ruthless Negotiation. I'm not leveling the talent yet. I still want to I want to attack their hand before I start furthering my game plan here. Okay, so they're searching for a specific card. We have Deadly Cover Up, so we might want to start setting up a position where we just go for a big Deadly Cover Up. Alright, and Painful Quandary, of course, doing what it does best and making people absolutely miserable. Okay, we're just going to level. We could do this, but it would hit nothing. So I'm just going to pass the turn, float 2 mana. Or not float, but leave 2 mana open. Not that it's going to do anything. If they choose to play a creature, that's okay. We'll just sweep the board next turn. I was really hoping we would get to a spot where we could Deadly Cover Up and get rid of all these guys. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Yeah, we're in a pretty good position right now. I don't know why he's milling all his creatures. Is there some type of combo he's trying to set up that I don't know about? Okay. I don't even... Nothing we have in our hand here is super useful to us. We could Deadly Cover Up, I guess. I think that makes the most sense at this stage. Just get rid of everything. Would have loved to do it differently, but now our opponent's in a rough position. They have 35 cards left in their deck to find a win, and then they also don't get to sacrifice a creature. Ooh, that was a good draw. That was also a good draw. We're going to ban his talent here. Yeah, they're locked out. GG. Yeah, you can see the power of Painful Quandary when you do get to set it up. Alright, everyone. Uh, just a short one today. I've been putting out longer videos, but the view retention hasn't been super good on the longer ones, so we're gonna try maybe like 3 games a video, see how that goes. You know, maybe like 20-minute videos. I'm thinking like half-hour max type of thing. It also makes it a lot easier on my recording side. You know, sometimes I record for like 2 hours to get a good, what I consider a good video, because I want to bring good games to you guys. But if I can reduce that to a few games, then that really helps. Deck did okay today. I think it just needs refinement. Um, I think it needs more removal, honestly. I'm not too sure about the creatures. Like, there is part of me that's like, maybe we just take out the creatures and just go for more removal. But if we did that, we'd have to take a Virtue and then maybe just leave in like Aclazot, maybe. It's hard to say exactly what the best discard outlet is. I mean, I obviously put like lots of like weird one-ofs in here. But that's just because I like to have options. If I was to refine the deck right, I'd probably cut one of them and double down. Like maybe take 2 of these or 2 of these. Um, what else here? Quandary did well in one of our games. I do like this card. I think it's definitely one of the better cards you can do for like a top end finish your opponent off in a discard deck. Because if you are in a winning position and you put this down, you're essentially going to maintain your winning position. There's not much your opponent can do. 5 life is a huge cost to pay. It's devastating, especially when you're getting pinged for two life every turn. So I'd probably like cut Meat Hook, cut that, and go up to like 2 of these because you only need 2. You just need to find 1 per game, and then honestly, probably go up on removal. Maybe cut a couple of the bats, cut a couple of the hostile investigators. But yeah, that's been our video today. I hope you enjoyed Mono Black. This card. It's definitely one of my. It's like a love-hate relationship with Mono Black. I hate playing against it, as do most people, but it's fun to be evil sometimes, isn't it? Uh, all right. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.